Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's good with you, man? We just checking in here live. Yeah, that's right. We're doing a quick analysis of what happened here between two undefeated fighters in the super middleweight division, David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade. Man, David Benavidez was just too big for Demetrius Andrade, man. I you know, yeah, Demetrius Andrade is skilled. Yeah, he has times when he could, really make things awkward for a lot of his opponents. But he's kind of like reached his limit here, going up against a guy with the level of David Benavidez, man. And you kind of like seen that in the third round after a bunch of combinations were landed by Demetrius Andrade, particularly in the first and second round. You know what David Benavidez did? He just said, you know what, man? Yeah, I'm getting tagged a few times here, but you know what? I'm going to bite down and I'm going to show that I'm the bigger man. And that's what he did. He just pretty much showed that he was a bigger man. And he just said, you know what? I'm going to take a couple of these jabs. I'm going to still come forward. And then when I land, I'm going to land big. And that's what he was able to do starting in the third round. He was able to land big shots in the third round. And, after he was able to land those big shots in the third round, he just made the activity of Demetrius Andrade just drop significantly. He didn't really have to, make an effort to try to cut off the ring. All he had to do was just come forward, continuously come forward and come forward. And when he was able to do that, just throw some punches. And, when he did that, he was able to break down Demetrius Andrade, and Andrade just could not take those shots, whether it was upstairs or to the body, And the thing about it is with Demetrius Andrade is, yeah, he's able to land, some clean shots. Yeah, he's able to score good with some combinations. But at this level, at the 168-pound division, you got to be able to have some pop behind your punch when you're going up against the upper level fighters there in the super middleweight division. Yeah, just about now, as we see, there's like just two guys that just stand above everyone else, it seems like, at the super middleweight division with Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. Yeah, I know that there's one other super middleweight contender out there, that doesn't have that many fights, but is a very skilled fighter and wants a shot at either one of those two guys at the top. But as of right now, we have David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez just standing as the two top guys there at 168. And it's, without no question. With David Benavidez, it's just about him, just being a guy that, comes in there. He's able to make 168. But he walks around at 195 plus or whatever it is. So if he's able to just get down to 168 when it comes to the weigh-in, really don't matter to him, because if you're, going up against, some of these guys that, could be skilled, but don't really have the size there at 168, David Benavidez is going to break him down. He did that against David Lemieux. He did that eventually against Caleb Plant. He's done that, multiple times over, in his, time being undefeated. So, right now it's just a matter of him just, waiting for that opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez. Now it might be up to the fans to demand that particular fight. It might be, up to seeing what happened here in this pay-per-view, as far as like the overall success of it or whatever it is, and the amount of people that, watched it or talked about, what David Benavidez has done to maybe garner a fight with Canelo Alvarez. But, as of right now, David Benavidez has had, his two fights here, first against Caleb Plant and then against Demetrius Andrade, was able to score two big wins here at 168. That just showed like he's, really ready for that opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez. Now, on the flip side, real quick with Demetrius Andrade, he showed that he has a lot of skills, and he made the effort there for those first few rounds. But after round 3, round 4, you just seen that he just did not have enough pop behind his punch to really phase David Benavidez here. And that's the thing that you're going to need in order for you to have success against Benavidez. And Demetrius Andrade didn't have that. So, whether he, could eventually face someone like, man, I don't know, like a Caleb Plant, maybe, you have other guys there, in the super middleweight division that Demetrius Andrade could face. I mean, yeah, this is his first loss of his professional career. Yes, it's at, 168 pounds. But there's still, a few other fights that could be there in position for Demetrius Andrade to have, like I mentioned, you do have Caleb Plant. But thing about it is, as far as like a big fight, this was like his opportunity. And, him getting, beat up like this, getting stopped like this, that kind of like really affects him. And for him to, try to get back in the mix, it's going to take some work, and he's already not been a, real draw to begin with. For many people, they felt like he wasn't really much of a draw. So now it's like, okay, now what are you? You're like the B side or whatever it is. And, depending on what happens here in 2024, we got to see if there's going to be another position, if he has another spot for him to fight him. This was his second fight this year. His first fight was pretty much the first weekend in January. And, for him to, kind of like wait it out and see what have been next and wait until here we are at pretty much at the end of November. So that's like 10 full months for Demetrius Andrade to fight. These breaks in between, that's not all too hot. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to see here. I mean, I know he got the post-fight that's going on right now as far as like press conference right now. You got, Jamal Charlo. Was hoping I had like the closed captions here for this. Jamal Charlo, of course, had that unanimous decision victory over Jose Benavidez Jr. Supposed to be at, catchweight of 163, came in at 166.5 pounds. Jamal Charlo just said, like, you know what, let me just get in here. Let me just, make this fight. To pay the money or whatever it is to, make sure that this fight took place. But it was just something for him, Jamal Charlo, for him to get in the ring, and I thought that was very good for him to get in the ring, get himself, worked up. He was able to, get his things, just get into the thick of things as far as like what he does in the ring. And you kind of like seeing his elements of why, Jamal Charlo was, when he was active, one of those better fighters out there, at that time in the middleweight division and, before that in the super welterweight division. Slide Tendencies in the building. What's going on with you, man? You picked David Benavidez, but, the punch resistance wasn't going to hold up. I guess that's in reference to, Demetrius Andrade, man. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, man. Demetrius, like I said, I mean, he's, very skilled, but he's a very awkward fighter. Like I said, second fight, they're at 168. And, even before that, there were times when, he kind of, has footing where he's kind of off balance and kind of, not really good as far as like his positioning with his feet. So you could have those times where he could, get hit and he could trip over a little bit. But here, he just kind of like misjudged the right hand that was coming from David Benavidez when he put his left hand up, and he kind of like had his left hand pretty much close to like his cheek or on the back part of his cheek, and it still landed, right on his chin, So there was that, man. Yeah, man, he definitely, Andrade definitely looks small. Like I was saying here when I started, I'm like, Demetrius Andrade, and they said it during the fight. I mean, Demetrius Andrade, is coming up there. He started 154, going up to 160, now 168, going up against a career guy at 168 pounds. Well, I think Benavidez kind of like started a little north of 168, then kind of like got comfortable there. But this is a guy that, when he was young was over to what, 230, 240? You know what I'm saying? So, him getting down to 168, but then, still having that, that body structure to like handle extra weight. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, David just did not respect his power. There was like one instance, during the early parts of the fight where Demetrius Andrade started a combination with an uppercut, landed with an uppercut, and just like, landed with, I guess it was either left or right uppercut, then went upstairs and went to the body a couple times and then came back upstairs. And it looked like a good combination from Demetrius Andrade, but it wasn't much to where it affected David Benavidez for him to really do something. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, it was just like after that, David Benavidez just was David Benavidez, the bigger guy coming forward, throwing punches, trying to be as active as possible while he's coming forward. And then he was just able to land, more accurate shots. And when he was able to do that, he just, broke down Demetrius Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Or he says, hope rest of boxing look hard at Andrade's corner. That's how you protect your fighters. Yeah, these guys aren't crash test dummies. They made the right choice. Yeah, they certainly did. They certainly did. But it was either going to be the corner or it was going to be Thomas Taylor, the referee, because, they're at the end of the sixth round. Thomas Taylor like went to the corner and said, hey, man, I'm going to need to see something from you. I'm going to need to see something from you. But even then, even before that, like at the end of the fifth round, when Benavidez was continuing his momentum, Andre Rozier in his corner was saying like, yo, you cannot stay right in front of this guy. You can't stay right in front of David Benavidez. He's just going to end up breaking you down and work you. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is like, that, just can't work. He like, the thing is, you could move around the ring against David Benavidez for some time, but you got to be able to, throw something that'll make it count. You got to be able to make it count there against David Benavidez. And, there was like one little spot where it was like Demetrius Andrade landed a good shot and was able to try to throw some more shots, but it was just, and Matias was sensational. He made, do say, Ergashev, Ergashev just didn't have no defense to me, man. It looked like he started off great. I thought, Ergashev started off great, was throwing hard shots, throwing a stiff, solid jab, throwing some, combinations behind that solid jab, and, was able to score good shots within those first two rounds. But then after those two rounds, you just didn't see much from him at all. And, Matias just walked forward and, just eventually broke down, Sergio Ergashev. So it was like, and that was a fight that, I was looking forward to in this card. That was the fight that I was looking forward to most in the card was Matias versus Ergashev because, of course, Matias having all of his wins by stoppage and Ergashev having a high KO ratio or high stoppage ratio going into this fight. But Matias was just walking through all of that. He just had a high guard, taking whatever he could take, and then just eventually broke down, Ergashev. And Ergashev looked like he just spent everything in like the first 2 or 3 rounds, man. And that was just it. And Matias just took care of him. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to be next there for Suber and Matias. You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, you have Rolly Romero out there with a world title. Yeah, he's a world title champ. Of course, we got what's going on next month with Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. You got Teofimo Lopez out there that says that they seem like they're trying to make something with him and Ryan Garcia, but now he says that he's not fighting Ryan Garcia, so who knows, man? Who knows, man? Everyone wants David Benavidez and Canelo now. I don't think Canelo will take that fight with David. What do you think about David's next step? I don't think that Canelo will take the fight with David Benavidez next. I still feel like Canelo Alvarez will try to have a fight with who's on the podium right now in the post-fight press conference. That is Jamal Charlo. And then after that fight, if he beats Jamal Charlo, then it'll be David Benavidez. But for David Benavidez, what would be next for him? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be David Morrell. David Morrell has his fight coming up here, where he's supposed to be, who was it, fighting? Sinak Beko, who, was supposed to be David Morrell's opponent in April in that Tank versus Ryan card. And David Morrell, if he takes care of Sinak Beko, he's going to be calling out David Benavidez, man. He's going to be calling him out. So there's that. Someone said that if Canelo refuses to fight Benavidez, they'll strip him. Hey, they've stripped Canelo Alvarez before. I'll just say that. They've stripped Canelo Alvarez before. A few years back, when he beat, he beat Miguel Cotto, and then they had Gennady Golovkin as the mandatory challenger while he was holding a couple of titles, which has never happened before. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, they have stripped Canelo before, okay? So, but if Canelo feels like he doesn't want to face somebody at that particular time, he don't really care about the belt, he's the number one money man, he'll say, you know what? I don't care. That's just more money I keep in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? So he could just, keep that belt or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got. Yeah, Slash says, as mad as I am at Charlo, for missing weight, he didn't look like he lost too much boxing-wise. Great jabs. Ate up everything Benavidez threw. Yeah, he'll probably fight Andrade. I don't see him versus Adames. Yeah, I don't see him versus Adames either. Maybe him versus Andrade, depends on what happens here. It's going to be either, like I said, with Jamal Charlo, actually he has some options. Yeah, he came in at 166, but even before that, people were saying like he was going to be on his way up to 168. So him going up against Canelo is an option. Going up against Andrade as an option. Going up against Caleb Plant is an option. But right now, of course, they got the audio thing with what's going on with Jamal Charlo. So we got to see what's that. You want Charlo versus Plant? That would be a great grudge match here, man. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see here, man. I'm gonna try something, y'all. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna put myself on mute here real quick. I want to hear, what. Wait a minute. Actually, I got a plan. Y'all, because dang, man, I'm trying to hear what he's saying at least for a couple of questions. Let me see if I can pull this off. Hold on, y'all. Let me see what we got, y'all. Hold on. No, I just caught it there where he said like he's feeling good about what's going on, man, as far as like boxing. But hopefully, I ain't get much out. Now, the thing about it is, man, with Jamal Charlo, he was able to work what he was able to work with. Shout out to his trainer there, Ronnie Shields. We kind of like have the weekly thing there with Ronnie Shields, of course, with the great host there, Joseph here in the War Week Radio Network, and we try to speak up with Ronnie Shields every Tuesday on the War Week Radio Network channel on YouTube to gauge what's going on his camp. But the thing is, he couldn't really talk about everything there, what was going on fully in the camp here before this particular fight. You know what I'm saying? So for Charlo, coming in at like 166 and a half, He said that he claimed that he only had like 3 weeks, going into the fight. He wasn't really that forthcoming, when they had that conference call, between him and Jose Benavidez Jr. about being in camp. So you had some stuff like that there, man. But he's been on here for a few little minutes talking about a few things here. I'm trying to see if I could get some on that. I mean, you talk about it, what's been going on, in his life and stuff like that. Like I said, it's been over 2.5 years since Jamal Charlo has been in the ring. But after for a few rounds or so, like Sly said, you were saying, man, he just looked like he was back to being himself. You know what I'm saying? So that was just something there that was good to see, out of Jamal Charlo. Back with this thing here with David Benavidez, man. We really got to see there what's up with with him and Canelo next, because one thing I said, like I said, I really do not see David Benavidez and Canelo next. I don't see that happening in May. I don't. That's gonna be probably in September. You're probably gonna see Canelo versus, like I said, either Jamal Charlo in May, or, and I hope this doesn't happen. I really hope this doesn't happen. Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Munguia. I hope that doesn't happen next. But there's been some talk or some buzz that could possibly be Canelo's next opponent. Some time back they were trying to set up Munguia to be an opponent for Canelo Alvarez. But yeah, I just don't see that being the case there. But Cat Quest, shout out to Cat Quest on that comment. Yeah, Caleb Plant was there, in the building. There was a good number of either current fighters or former fighters there at the Mandalay Bay, in attendance for this fight. Some folks thought that I would have been out there, covering for that fight, but I was like, nah, man. I'm kind of Vegas out this year, man. I was Vegas out, man. I went, I went like early in the year. I could have went to, I went in April for, Tank versus, Ryan. He's just they just completed there with Jamal Charlo. I was there for that. What else? I mean, I could have been there for, Spence versus Crawford. I covered, Canelo versus Jamel Charlo. Like about 3 or 4, trips to Vegas in 1 year, man. I'm all Vegas out, man. Especially being in the East Coast, I'm Vegas out, man, for the year. So yeah, I couldn't make it for this joint here for Benavidez Andrade. But that was just something where I kind of felt like that was just something where I just felt like, what, let me go ahead and buy this pay-per-view. This is the last Showtime pay-per-view, in their story time, what I'm saying. Now it looks like they got new WBA what is that, super featherweight champion Lamont Rhodes Jr. Now in there. Shout out to him. He fought a great fight there against Hector Luis Garcia. It was a split decision win for him. What you had, 114-113 in favor of him, 114-113, in favor of Hector Garcia. And then what was it, like 117-110 in favor of Lamont Roach? Like, what I'm saying? I thought it was like a clear win by Lamont Roach. Really didn't have much activity there from Hector Luis Garcia over the course of those rounds. And you saw the more significant punches from Lamont Roach over the course of the fight. And then that 12th round, that knockdown, I thought it sealed it but apparently one of the judges had already had like 7 rounds in favor of Hector Luis Garcia going into the 12th round. That's crazy. What do I think PBC moves to? I've been saying it would be Amazon Prime, but I'm gonna just say this: Amazon Prime might not be the only spot where PBC has their fights. That's the thing. Foster versus Rochanex. No. Thing is, Oshaki Foster, a couple weeks ago, scored that 12th round stoppage, over Rocky Hernandez. That was on the zone. But after that, a couple weeks after that, he signed with Top Rank. So you got, Oshaki Foster there, defending WBC champion at 130. And what happened in the previous Thursday? You had the WBO champion, Emmanuel Navarrete, score a win there against Robson Conceição in a great fight. Now, that would kind of like set up a good unification bout between those two, even though Emmanuel Navarrete said that he wouldn't mind having a rematch with Conceição, But, that's the thing there with Lamont Roach. He's able to, get his win here over Hector Luis Garcia. That was his second attempt at a world title. Was able to get the win here. Didn't get a win over Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring did make a comment about this particular fight, saying that he's back. So he said like he might say that he got something against either one of those fighters, but we got to see like how he does in get better competition real quick. But yeah, Lamont Roach is there. He's back. He had worked his way up to being the mandatory challenger, for Hector Luis Garcia. Some people may say that Hector Luis Garcia got affected by that fight against Tank Davis at the beginning of the year. So yeah, that's 2 fighters that were on that card, that fought in January. What was that? January 6th, January 7th, over here in DC, and they didn't fight again until November. Hector Luis Garcia, Demetrius Andrade. And the thing for me is like you got to be, more active, especially in some of these weight classes. Like fighting 2 times a year ain't gonna cut it. You got to be able to be more active on there, or try to do something, because sometimes, that kind of like keeps you sharp. You know what I'm saying? Kind of keeps you sharp in that aspect. So that's the thing. But yeah, Lamont Roach was able to get a good win here, split decision, and everything like that. He had that was quick. Only had a few questions there for Lamont Roach or something, and then he's kind of like out of the paint. What is this? David Benavidez looks like is on here. Looks like right now, something like that. Hold on. Yeah. So they got David Benavidez out right now. What the heck just happened here, man? They could have kept this. Oh man, see, man. I think they just cut this thing here for the thing for buying the pay-per-view, man. So it looks like we gotta go on the YouTube page in order to get that joint. You know what I'm saying? But y'all be able to catch those comments later. I'm gonna say this though. I will be back on in what is it, about 19 hours from now. I'm gonna have another podcast or show here on the YouTube channel. Shout out to those on here live, man. That's chilling out here with me, with this quick post fight thing. Oh, they said technical difficulties on this joint, man. But yeah, that's the thing, man. Lamont Roach did very well. Subir Matias broke down Ergashev. I mean, I expected more from Ergashev on that, man. I expected more from Ergashev. Jamal Charlo, is back, but we say, He was there 166 and a half. I expect him to be at 168. I expect him to be at 168. Yeah, okay. I'll be back. David Benavidez is on there right now. Like he was saying after the fight, man, he gave props to Demetrius Andrade for taking the fight, was able to, break him down. Really wasn't affected by Demetrius Andrade's shots early in the fight. He was just too big. You just seen that. He was just too big. Like you seen in some of those camera angles, right, where you just seen like Demetrius Andrade just looked like he's at 160 and David Benavidez is at 175. That's what this looked like, you know. So think about it is, man. I mean, we got to see what's going on, what's going to be next for David Benavidez. As was asked earlier, what happens with PBC after this year. That's where we're going to see what's going to happen or what's going to continue there with Canelo Alvarez. Now, if they say something to the effect of, maybe Paramount Plus, Showtime Paramount Plus is still able to carry pay-per-views, on there, then maybe they still have Canelo Alvarez, facing these guys, they're on that pay-per-view, but outside of that, we'll have to see what's next. But yeah, it looks like, they got David Benavidez here on, man. But yeah, I mean, he just broke down and stopped Demetrius Andrade because he was just way too big. Just being real straight up, he was just too big. And even those combinations from Demetrius Andrade early in the fight, they looked good. Looked like he was, kind of like frustrating David Benavidez there early. But it just was something where those punches just didn't affect, David Benavidez enough there to like have him stop what he was going to, have in his game plan. And his game plan was to come forward, close out the ring, make it real tough for Demetrius Andrade, break him down, and then, eventually stop him. And when he was able to land, a couple of those shots there, especially with the knockdown that happened, that was just where you just seen, and to me, it didn't look like it was like a clean, like a fierce shot from David Benavidez, but it was still enough to put Demetrius Andrade down. And after that, you just seen a lot of those shots like really, really hurt Demetrius Andrade. And it's different, it's different when you take a bunch of shots and stand up instead of taking like a clean shot and going down. And when you've seen that from David Benavidez, that's the thing with him. He just kind of, accumulates those big shots against those opponents. And when you take those shots, it really takes a toll on you. You got to ask Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant had that one fight here in March. Hasn't had nothing much since. So David Benavidez, man, still undefeated, still the interim champion there in the WBC. Looks like David Benavidez' promoter there. He's kind of made his case. Looks like he's made his case for something there, whatever it is. Samson Lukowitz, I think probably has made his case for David Benavidez to face Canelo next, but we'll see about all that. That being said, that's my quick synopsis here. I'm gonna do a more detailed breakdown of this fight and all the fights that here on the card on, like I said, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Right now it's like 12:45 Eastern time. I'm gonna wind this down. Props to everyone that's joined in live here. Like I said, David Benavidez still undefeated, handed Demetrius Andrade his first loss of his professional career. Stopped him. Just broke him down and stopped him. It was just way too big. I'm just checking out this thing here with the post-fight presser there in Mandalay Bay. But I'm gonna break this down, in more detail at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for those that could be back here on the Boxing Source YouTube channel. But just wanted to give my quick synopsis of what happened here in this fight between David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade. And does this mean bring on Canelo Alvarez? I don't know, but something tells me that Canelo Alvarez is going to face either Jamal Charlo or Jaime Munguia. And I hope it's not Jaime Munguia, man. I'll just say that. But with that being said, that's it for now. We'll break this down more later on. Hopefully y'all can join us live. We'll have a couple guests on to join here to talk about the fight in detail, give some more reactions to it. And I'll see y'all then. Until that time, peace out.